My name is Dr. Joe Hall. I'm the clinical lead for the St Paul's Way Medical Centre. Diabetes is a major issue for our local population. We have approximately 750 patients registered with us at the surgery who have diabetes, and that's approximately 8% of our list size. Locally, diabetes has a prevalence of approximately 2 to 3 times the national prevalence.
Hello, my name is Sandra B. Harry. I'm 54 years of age and I've suffered diabetes for about 10 years of my life. My mother suffered with diabetes. My brother's got it as well.
There is no human being can discover diabetic himself unless he told his GP, and GP will take the blood, and after the test GP will tell you whether you have the diabetic or not.
Diabetes is a lifelong condition, and you get diabetes when the blood glucose levels in your body rises.
There are 2 types of diabetes. There's type 1 and type 2 diabetes. In order to understand diabetes, one has to look at insulin. So what insulin does, it takes the blood glucose and it takes it into the cells, and then it then converts it into energy. So that's how we make our energy.
Diabetes can cause blindness, it can cause kidney failure, it can cause a heart attack, a stroke, and also loss of sensation, mainly in the hands and feet, which is called neuropathy.
St Paul's Way Medical Centre has been working with St Paul's Way Trust School looking at the genetics of diabetes. This is a really exciting project for the students to work on the scientific genetic basis of diabetes, and then link with the health centre who are caring for patients with diabetes, and hopefully together with Queen Mary University we can find the root cause of diabetes and maybe find some solutions.
The main aim of our project is to find a clear link between the FTO gene and diabetes. As we know that the FTO gene is a fat, mass and body related gene, and we are investigating to see if it links in with diabetes.
Using our research and our findings, we're hoping to educate our community about how they can reduce the risk of them developing type 2 diabetes later on in life.
Diabetes is a really important condition because it affects 6 to 7% of the whole population. In type 2 diabetes, there's a risk if you have a weight problem, so if you're overweight. And then there are some racial groups who have a higher incidence of diabetes. People can decrease their risk of diabetes by lifestyle things, so taking exercise is important. Exercise actually regularly, 3 or 4 times a week, decreases your blood sugar and decreases your risk of getting diabetes. Diabetes is a genetic disease, and there are certain genes that have been shown to be important. In fact, there are quite a lot of genes that have been shown to be important in the development of type 1 diabetes, and also there are genes that are important in the development of type 2 diabetes, and that's why it tends to occur in certain families and tends to occur in certain racial groups more commonly than others, and that's all predicated on their genetic makeup. As it gets worse, and if it does get worse, you may need to give drugs to increase the movement of sugar into the cells.
The treatment options for type 2 diabetes starts with the most important, and that is lifestyle. You need to have a healthy lifestyle which involves appropriate food choices, which will also help prevent from cardiovascular disease, that's good, and also importantly to do about 30 minutes of exercise, if possible, every single day. There's unlikely to be one drug or one thing that you can give for diabetes that will then cure or reduce the blood glucose. So instead, what we do is we follow a pathway. So if diet and lifestyle is not working, and unfortunately that happens in the majority, then what we then need to do is start on a drug called metformin, which lowers the resistance to insulin. And then if that doesn't work, we then add a second drug. That drug may stimulate insulin secretion, for instance. And if that doesn't work, we then might add a third drug, and indeed a fourth drug. And if that doesn't work, we'll then add insulin. In the area where I practice at the Royal London Hospital, indeed in East London, there's absolute epidemic of diabetes going on, which is true also for the Indian subcontinent. Just to give you an example, the prevalence of type 2 diabetes in the local Bangladeshi population is 6 times the average of that in England. Not only that, but it actually occurs 10 to 15 years younger at age, so people are more likely to develop complications of diabetes. What the community needs to know is that diabetes is preventable, and this is an important and very singular message. And for that, it's very important to have a healthy lifestyle. This can happen at all ages, but particularly important as you go a little bit older and you slow down. It's very important to have healthy food choices, very important to exercise, and it's very important this is extended over the whole life course. So equally applicable to a pregnant woman, to a growing child, and to adulthood.
Diabetes is a really serious disease. We need to be able to pick it up early and therefore screen patients at an early stage. If patients have any symptoms of thirst, tiredness, or passing too much urine, they should come to see a doctor and get screened for diabetes. This is a simple blood test and the results will be back within a few days.